The Michigan Man Podcast, episode 256. Coach Jim Harbaugh and his team go silent for the next 3 weeks as camp gets underway. Michigan great and teammate of Coach Jim Harbaugh, Jamie Morris, is my guest this week. Welcome to the Michigan Man Podcast, brought to you in partnership with Maize & Brew, your best source for quality Michigan Wolverine news, rumors, analysis, stats, and scores from the fan perspective, for Wolverine fans from coast to coast. Welcome to the Michigan Man here on Wolverine Sports Radio, a member of the V Sporto Network. I'm your host, Mike Fitzpatrick. Last week we previewed the Big Ten with ESPN's Adam Rittenberg. Now it's time to put the spotlight on Coach Jim Harbaugh's first team. His close friend and former teammate, Michigan great Jamie Morris, joins me this week with his thoughts on the coming season. First, a few news and notes before we get to our Game Day segment with Jamie. On Friday, Coach Jim Harbaugh said his team was going silent for the next 3 weeks. They were going on a submarine and would not surface until September 3rd, when they tee it up against Utah in the opener. It's always tough to get news during camp, as we all know. Usually the only items we get are injury reports, if even that. So for the next 3 weeks, we'll do the very best we can to tell you what is new and what's happening in camp. And of course, preview our Wolverines. It's a new season for Michigan football, and here at the Michigan Man, we now have several new ways you can hear the show. For iPhones and iPad users, our app is now available in the iTunes Store. Just do a search for the Michigan Man. Android phone and tablet users can find us in the Google Play Store. For Windows phones and tablets, the app can be found in the Windows 8 App Store, and all of these apps are free. So for even more coverage of your Wolverines, check out the Wolverine Sports Radio app, also in the iTunes Store. For some of us, the memories of watching Jim Harbaugh hand off to Jamie Morris seem just like yesterday. In reality, though, it's been over 25 years since those two Wolverine greats last stepped on the field together. They still are close friends and forever teammates and Michigan men. Jamie Morris is my guest today on our Game Day segment. So stay with us here on the Michigan Man, in partnership with SB Nation's Maize & Brew and Wolverine Sports Radio, a member of the V Sporto Network. With us on our Michigan Game Day segment this week is Michigan great Jamie Morris, who also hosts a View from the Backfield on WTKA in Ann Arbor. And Jamie, that's coming up soon again, isn't it?
Yeah, the show's going to debut August 30th. It's the Sunday before the first game, which is on September 3rd.
Okay, so just a couple of weeks away. And of course, as we all know, Jamie, fall camp opened on Friday. Michigan fans counting down the days until the Utah opener. This is always such an exciting time of the year for both the players and fans anyway, but especially this year with Coach Jim Harbaugh and his first camp.
Oh, it's really exciting. And like you said, adding Coach Harbaugh to the mix has made it even more exciting. Being a former player and a former teammate of his is even more exciting. So, I mean, you're going to be intense. You're worried. You're kind of like waiting for the moment. Every day you wait, you hear, you read, you try to go down and look over the fence and see.
Well, I think we'll have to do that. Coach Harbaugh mentioned on Friday that he, his staff, and the team would be going quiet for a while, which we all expect this time of the year. I like how he put it. He said, we're going onto a submarine and we won't be heard from for a while. So if we're looking for any kind of daily updates, we're not going to get much in the next 3 weeks, are we?
No, you're not. He's got to go find his team. He's got to bring them together. I mean, they've had a great summer of training, working out with the strength and conditioning coach Kevin Tolbert, and now it's time to go show the coaches what you did and what you build that body up for. Let's go. It's time for the coaches to break this team down and then build them back up for that first game.
Well, Jamie, from a coaching perspective, there's, so much to be accomplished in camp, and it's to be accomplished in a very short time, isn't it?
It is, but those days get longer. Those days get long as the process proceeds. I mean, in the beginning, things happen so fast. I mean, it's pitcher day, media day, whatever you want to call it, and then then you get to the grind. Once you get to the grind, I'm thinking yesterday, today, tomorrow. Those days are grind. Now, it's not how when I played, when Coach Harbaugh played. It won't be two-a-days per se in full pads, running a mile and a half and different things like that. But football has changed. Technology has shown that, you give the body a little short burst of things, then, the body will respond even better. Well,
as you said, back when you played, things were a lot different as far as how camp was run. These kids have been, not in camp, but they've been practicing 7-on-7 drills, lifting since June. Is it easier in a way now for the coaching staff because these guys have really been working out for June and July, now come into camp and start rolling on technique and the playbook?
Well, I mean, they've been working out, and it's voluntary workouts and everything like that. There's no real coach on the field with them. They're doing it as players. So that being said, now they have to do it at the pace that the coaches want, and it becomes difficult. And then, you run a play, and you gotta make that play superior. So you're gonna run that play maybe 10 to 12. You're gonna run that play maybe 25 times a day. It gets monotonous. It's called muscle memory. And, you keep running the same play against different defenses. You run that play against stacked defenses. You run that play against nickel defenses. You run that play. You just keep running that play.
Well, Jamie, I've always wondered when we talk about spring practice, a new offense was being installed by Coach Harbaugh and his staff in March. And you get 15 practices. The 15th one is the spring game. So 14 practices in spring ball. Now you have 3 weeks of summer practice before game week for Utah. That's cramming an awful lot into a new offense into these kids' minds, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it is. And, don't expect anything, the playbook is huge, but I think the coaches have a good plan. They've broken that playbook down. They tried to get as much of that playbook in during spring ball. They tried to, you go and visit your coach when he's in town. I mean, the coaches are on the road recruiting, and they did the satellite camps and everything like that. So that being said, you try to stop in and see your coach as much as possible and get as much feedback as you can and get, on hand training as much as you can. So, as I said, it's tough, but these kids nowadays, kids are smart. They're bigger, stronger, smarter. Football, and you try to make football out of rocket science. It's just a game. It's tackling, running, and and doing the things that you're supposed to do from a regular basis. So, it's you go with the old KISS theory. Keep it simple, stupid. Mm-hmm. You don't try to overanalyze things. You try to keep it as simple as you can.
Well, heading into camp, everyone, of course, watching the quarterback battle as we approach the Utah opener. How far do you think you get into camp before you name a starter, Jamie, or does it matter?
It matters a lot. I think these coaches want somebody to come out and dominate right away. I know that they would love to have something like that, but it's going to take some time because you got Shane Morris, who is learning a system, and you got the kid from Iowa, Rudock. He's coming into a situation where he's played a lot at Iowa, but he doesn't know this system, so he's got to come in and learn this system. So who's going to take? It's really between those two, and who's going to really take command of the offense, and that's what the coaches are waiting for. And it's not. And let me say this: the toughest thing about these kids, about these quarterbacks, is that their head coach was a quarterback. So he's looking for that special niche that he had when he played quarterback.
Well, the same can be said in the backfield too, Jamie. We have a lot of competition, back there for carries. Is it preferable, though, to have a starter named by the opener with that many talented kids in the backfield, or maybe do you start the season giving several guys carries?
Well, yeah, I think you can win. You can play football from a running back standpoint, from a team standpoint, you can have a platoon of running backs. I mean, you can play those guys. You want to have a solid leader, and the quarterback would be the solid leader, but a platoon of running backs is great. You can always whittle it down. You got as many great running backs as you have. I think Michigan's got a large number of running backs that they can go to. I think that they'll separate themselves as they get through camp. I mean, probably by the second week, you'll know who your main 3 running backs are.
Well, last year, the offensive line, really the last few years, the offensive line has had its share of struggles, has played a lot of young guys, which we've seen, and they probably weren't ready. But this year, with spring ball under their belt and a lot of game action in the last couple of years, that is one area, that offensive line, even though it still needs cohesion, we should see great improvement from Jamie, don't you think?
I think so. Mike, I think you hit it right on the head. This has been a team, this unit has been young for a long time. Now they've had time to season together. I think Coach Hoke and his staff did a great job bringing them along. I think now Coach Strebno, Coach Harbaugh, they're going to bring this team together. They're going to bring that off, and that should be a strength of the offense right there. You've got enough guys. You've got guys that have experience. You got guys that want to play. You got guys that hunger to play. And the one thing about having a first year coach is, you know, everything that you've done wrong with the previous staff, that's all forgotten. Now you get to prove yourself to this staff. If you want to play, show that you want to play.
15 spring practices, was that enough to give Jim Harbaugh a real good feel for this offense and the talent he has at this point?
It gave him a good starting point. I don't know if that was enough. I think when you have 15, well, I don't want to say it was 15 straight days, but let's say you had about 12 days of 4-hour practices. That gave you enough significant time with your player, finding out who's finding that proverbial who's got the toughness to be out on the field, who can you count on. It gave those coaches a glimpse of the guys that you can count on for the upcoming season.
I mean, you've been there, Jamie. You've been through spring ball and all of your 4 years at Michigan. And the thing that I just wonder about is you had more spring practices, though, didn't you?
Well, I'm sure I did. But remember, I came into a constant situation. I mean, when you look at these kids, they're not coming into a constant situation where they've got a proverbial all-star coach who is renowned around the country, recognized as one of the greatest coaches to coach in college football. I mean, you can't take my situation or Coach Harbaugh's situation and say, you know, now these kids, now in all fairness, you got to say kids can adapt quickly, and these kids will adapt quickly. They know the pedigree of their coach. They know that he's a winner. So if they do what they're supposed to do, and the coaching staff does what they're supposed to do, you're going to have some extra wins that you didn't have last year.
Our guest on the show today on our Michigan Game Day segment this week is Michigan great Jamie Morris as we start to preview the upcoming season. Camp opened on Friday, so we have about 3.5 weeks before the opener with Utah. And I guess the one thing we probably aren't so worried about, Jamie, is the defense. This defense at just about every position group looks to be very solid, and I think most of us expect it will have to carry this team at least early, won't it?
The defense does carry the offense anyway. It's not a usual thing, but traditionally your defense is up to speed. Your offense needs to catch up. So the defense is. Thank God that we've got a great defensive line that's gone through some transition, but I think it's going to be great. I think the linebacking core is going to be great. You lost some key people in Jake Ryan, but you still came back with some great linebackers. From a secondary standpoint, you lost, but you gained. So you got some players back there, and you know, remember, Jabril Peppers is the one person that that stands out. That, you know, he's actually going to play. And let's cross our fingers, he's going to be able to play a full season.
You've got to be excited to see Jabril because it sounds like he is going to play free safety, doesn't it?
Yes, it is. It sounds like he's going to be able to, you know, play strong safety. He's going to play a little offense. He'll do some returning. He's going to be that player. He's going to be that game-changing player that teams need, and he's going to have to make things happen.
One area, though, Jamie, that I haven't touched on, and I think as fans and analysts, we often overlook is special teams and the kicking games. And we're going to see a new punter, new place kicker this year. We have a new special teams coach, of course. So we're going to have new return men. A lot of changes in those very important areas, Jamie.
Oh, yeah, but they practiced those. The one thing is they donated a lot of time during the spring and practice on special teams. That was the one thing that stuck out as much as anything about spring ball that I saw at the practices was that how much they practiced special teams blocking, special team kickoff return, punt. I mean, they really, and you know, the good thing is that they have some new kickers in, but if you're a kicker, the one thing about kickers, do your job. You're supposed to do your job. That's why they bring you here, to do your job. So, you know, they just don't bring anybody here. If you can't get your job done, they'll get somebody else, trust me.
Well, your old teammate, Coach Jim Harbaugh, Jamie, has had a whirlwind first 7 months on the job. If he's not tweeting, he's in the news, and he's kept the program in the news in some way or form, it seems like, every day. Has anything about his first 7 months on the job surprised you?
No, not really. I think he's done a great job. I think keeping Michigan relevant in the minds. I think he was more of the celebrity. I think he'd rather have his players be the celebrity. I think he'd rather have the players stick out more. But this has been that transition season where everybody would ask, how is Coach Harbaugh? What's Coach Harbaugh like? And everything like that. I think he took the role of, Michigan was the first team to have the spring ball. I think that was by design. I think they were the first school to have their first spring ball football game. That was by design, just letting everyone know, keeping Michigan relevant. I think the camps, having the camps in various locations around the country, that was by design, keeping Michigan at the forefront of the recruiting mind and taking advantage of his celebrity. I think that's the cool thing is he's a celebrity, and kids know about him. They wanted to take pictures with him. You see it. They want to tweet that they had a picture with Coach Harbaugh. It became sort of a thing. You know, the things that I've seen, kids want to get next to him and take a picture, and they tweet it out right away. So, I mean, take advantage of it. Why not? Give them a chance and open up the door to Michigan to them.
Well, it's been a fun 7 months, no question about it. We've all enjoyed seeing Coach Harbaugh and how he's conducted himself so well in the spotlight, despite the fact we haven't even played it down yet. Plenty of preseason, experts have already weighed in. The magazines are out there on, what we can expect, not only for Michigan this coming season, but, of course, all of college football. It seems that most of these so-called experts see Michigan winning 7 or maybe 8 games this year. And, I tend to think a lot of these predictions are hogwash. I mean, if you've been around long enough, you've seen what's predicted in June and what happens in November oftentimes is quite different. But what are your thoughts, Jamie? I know as a former player, you're going to say, hey, you want to win the Big Ten championship.
You want me to be realistic.
Exactly.
Well, Mike, you said it. As a former player, you want to see your team win each and every game. That's the goal, is to win the Big Ten championship. That being said, this is a team that's going to come together, and I think Coach Harbaugh has got a good handle on this team. I think they'll win more games than most people think they would. I think that 7 to 8 games is a legitimate prediction. I think they can win. They'll win some games that they're not supposed to win. That prognosticators will say Michigan's going to get beaten this game, and they're going to go out and show that they can win. I mean, you're going to see a tougher, a stronger effort. You're going to see a tougher team. You can't just punch Michigan in the mouth and not have them punch you back in the mouth. This is a team that's going to come in with toughness, and it's going to take time. Now, will there be some ups and downs? Sure. There's going to be some down moments, too, where it's like these kids don't know what they're doing out there, but they'll get it together. They got a coach that's going to grind it through. They're going to get through the grind, and that's what summer camp is all about. That's why he said we're going to go down in the submarine. they're going to find themselves. They're going to find out how to become a team. They're going to go find out how to play under Coach Harbaugh and his staff. And you're going to find out your leaders. I know your seniors are your leaders, but you're going to find out your individual leaders, the guys that are going to take you to the next level.
Their number one goal is going to be winning the Big Ten championship. There's no question about that. Any Michigan team that sets their goals, that's going to be the number one goal. I would think number 2 and 3 on that list is going to be, because you can't get the first goal without going through Ohio State and Michigan State. Do you expect those games to be absolutely much different this year, especially the Michigan State game, than they have been in recent years?
I think you're going to see a different effort. I think you're going to see guys with more ferocity. I think you're going to see guys come out and play their butts off. I mean, you get tired of it. Eventually, you got to beat your rivals. You can't talk about it anymore. You just got to go out and do it.
My guest today has been Michigan great and former teammate of Coach Jim Harbaugh, Jamie Morris. And again, as we mentioned at the top of the show, Jamie, you'll be back again this fall in WTKA Ann Arbor with your A View from the Backfield show. I think John Bacon mentioned on his blog the other day that he'll be with you on August 30th. So tell the folks a little bit about what they can expect on the show as the show approaches.
Well, it's a show. It's wild and wacky. It's crazy. It's a different take. It's something that I came up with. Everybody has a view, and I got my view, and I give my view publicly to the Michigan Nation. But I want to hear what their view is. Everybody sees the game differently. Everybody watches different plays. Some people watch where the ball goes. Some people watch the blocking. I want to know what your view is. I give you my view. I want you to call in and give me your view, and we can debate it. If you want to debate, you don't like my view. You can give me your view, and maybe I'll agree, maybe I'll disagree. And like you said, on August 30th, we debut. We're going to have an hour of the show, and then we're going to bring my buddy John Bacon in, and he's going to talk about his book, his brand new book about the end zone of the ups and downs of Michigan, the rise and fall of Michigan athletics. So I'm excited about his book and everything like that. So we're going to have an hour long of his show and talk about different things like that. But during the rest of the season, we're going to break down the whole season. We're going to talk about things. We're going to go over things. We got guests coming on. We're going to have former players that from the yesteryear, guys that you haven't heard from in 9 or 10 years. We're going to bring them back. Maybe 30 years. I don't know. We're going to see where we can go.
Well, it sounds like a lot of fun. So for my listeners who are all around not only Michigan but around the country, check it out, WTKA Ann Arbor 1050, the ticket, Jamie Morris. And what time is that on Sundays, Jamie?
Thank you, Michael. That's from 9 to 11 a.m. each and every Sunday until after August 30th. It's every Sunday we'll be on. You can reach us at 734-998-1050. It's WTKA. AM 1050, like you said, and online at WTKA.com.
There you go, Wolverine fans. Check it out from Michigan great Jamie Morris. Jamie, always great to have you on the show with your input and your take on what's happening in Michigan football. And as we get into the season, we hope to get you back. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Mike. Look forward to hearing from you again, Mike. And hey, let's have you come on my show.
Anytime, Jamie. Go Blue.
Go Blue, Mike.
Thanks to Michigan great Jamie Morris for being our guest today. Coming up next, we wrap it up for another week with Wolverine Quick Hits here on The Michigan Man in partnership with SB Nation's Maize and Brew and Wolverine Sports Radio, a member of the V Sporto Network. On Wolverine Quick Hits this week, thankfully there are no injuries to report during the first few days of camp. For most Michigan fans, the quarterback battle is what we're most interested in. On Friday, offensive coordinator Tim Drevno mentioned, the competition is tight with 3 quarterbacks. This took some of us by surprise as we assumed it was a 2-horse race between Shane Morris and Jake Rudock. So it appears a 3rd quarterback has been making an impression this summer and very early in camp. Who that person is, no one knows. Coach Drevno certainly wasn't going to say. We'll find out soon enough, though. Passing game coordinator Jed Fish re-emphasized on Friday at Media Days that he wants all of his quarterbacks to be aggressive without being reckless. meaning he is looking for someone that is accurate, takes what the defense gives him, and doesn't turn the ball over. He said every quarterback on the roster will have the opportunity to compete and impress over the next 3 weeks. On the recruiting front, things are slowing down a bit too. New Jersey four-star wideout Amir Mitchell announced last week that his choices are down to Michigan and Ohio State. He said it was neck and neck right now and gave no timetable for making his decision. Detroit Martin Luther King four-star Donnie Corley is once again very interested in Michigan. It was thought he was a Sparty lock, but it seems he might be more open to Michigan after attending the barbecue at the Big House. He had good things to say about his experience and that he was still very interested in the Wolverines. Most recruiting gurus still think he'll end up in East Lansing, though. So how many games do you think we can win this year? Who will a starting quarterback be? I would love to hear your maize and blue thoughts on those or anything else on your mind. My phone lines are open 24/7 for your calls at 313-263-4842. That's 313-263-4842. You can also email me at themichiganmanpodcast@yahoo.com. So come on, Michigan fans, let's hear what you think. Thanks again to Michigan great Jamie Morris for being my guest this week. Next week, we'll continue our march toward September 3rd and the opener with Utah. My guest will be another Michigan and NFL great, Greg Skrepenak. So I hope you'll join us to hear Greg's always interesting and passionate thoughts on his Wolverines. Like us on Facebook at The Michigan Man Podcast and follow us on Twitter at The Michigan Man. And keep up with Wolverine Sports Radio on Twitter at Go Blue Radio. That will do it for this week. It's an exciting time of the year, and each day we get a bit closer to teeing it up against Utah on September 3rd. I know most of us can't wait, but it will be here before we know it. Have a great Wolverine week, everyone. I'll see you back here next week with my guest, Michigan great Greg Skrepenak. I'm your host, Mike Fitzpatrick. Until then, take care, and as always, go blue. Thanks for listening to the Michigan Man Podcast. You can find us on the web at www.themichiganmanpodcast.com or www.maizenbrew.com. Our listener line is open 24/7 for your calls at 313-263-4842. That's 313-263-4842. Or you can email your thoughts and opinions to the Michigan Man Podcast at yahoo.com. The Michigan Man Podcast is brought to you in partnership with Maize & Brew, your best source for quality Michigan Wolverine news, analysis, stats, and scores from the fan perspective. Visit www.maizenbrew.com for the best coverage of your Wolverines. The Michigan Man Podcast is produced at the studios of Robin Lynn Productions, Allen Park, Michigan, and is not affiliated with the University of Michigan. Go Blue!